Hey, it's Leo. I'm the guy that talks about Dragon Quest. This video will be a dive into the main protagonist from Dragon Quest Dai. Consistent viewers of my channel may have thought I stopped talking about Dino Daiboken because the anime finished airing weekly a bit ago, but if there's one thing I will never stop discussing, it's my favorite anime / manga of all time, Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. Now, let's start with my analysis of Dai's character. I'll be talking about everything from Dai's conceptualization to his design, history, and personality. With my personal opinion thrown in, I can't help it. He is one of my favorite fictional characters of all time, if the PFP and YouTube banner didn't scream that enough. For reference, I'll be using the Japanese manga title Dino Daiboken when referring to the series, and Dai when acknowledging the main character. The main artist for Dino Daiboken is Koji Inada. Inada is a mangaka who worked as an assistant to Akira Toriyama, the creator of the famous Dragon Ball. At least that's what I found on a single website, so I don't know if that's true. However, there is no doubt that Toriyama's art style influenced Dai's character design and the world of Dino Daiboken as a whole. Dragon Quest is an immensely popular video game series with Toriyama's artwork, and Dragon Quest Dino Daiboken is a manga series based off the video game franchise. Before Dino Daiboken began serialization in Weekly Shonen Jump in 1989, Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 had already been released, but Dai's aesthetic looks closer to that of Kid Goku than any early Dragon Quest game protagonist. Spiky hair in every direction, loose clothes. I'd make the assumption that Kid Goku played at least some kind of a part in Koji Inada's initial character design for Dai. Dai also has a cross-shaped scar on his cheek because every peak fictional character does. His headpiece is most likely influenced by the similar one we see worn by the Dragon Quest III protagonist. Obviously biased, but I prefer Koji Inada's art to Akira Toriyama's style, largely due to Inada's eyes. They have more detail to them, and it just has this certain charm. It's hard to explain. Now let's talk about Dai's background and history in the manga. His father is the Dragon Knight Baron, his mother is Sawala, a human. Dai's birth name given to him by his parents is actually Dino. Separated from his parents at a very young age, Dai was raised on Dermaline? I have no idea how to pronounce it because I forgot, but I'm just going to say Dermaline, where he became quite friendly with the local monsters who helped raise him. He has humble beginnings, completely oblivious to the powerful Dragon Knight blood that courses through him. In episode 2, Dai shows the mark of the Dragon Knight, the Dragon Crest, in order to save Princess Leona, who was on business at Dermaline Island. For Dai, this is a crucial point for him due to him not having much interaction with the opposite sex, and Leona was the first person to believe in Dai's latent ability, realizing that even though at the time he couldn't perform magic, he strangely enough had completed the ritual bond with nearly every spell. This is a big factor as to why Dai has a strong compassion for her in particular. She had what he didn't, faith in Dai himself. Sometime later, Yvonne the hero and Pop also visited Dai's home island. Another vital moment for Dai, as Pop was essentially his first male friend that was a human, and Yvonne became a most honorable role model to him, who teaches him the techniques needed to be a hero of justice. Sadly, Yvonne sacrifices himself to protect Dai from the Dark Army commander Hadler, who invaded Dermaline Isle. In the end, however, Dai still had to drive off Hadler himself, being able to do so unknowingly because of his power as a Dragon Knight. He then sets out from Dermaline Isle to stop the Dark Army from causing further havoc on the world. This beginning arc of the manga/anime is so many new experiences for Dai, which is why I became so invested in Dino Daiboken. In the span of 5 to 6 episodes, we see the secluded Dai have a bit of a crush, meet a fellow bro, and bear witness to the harsh reality of death. It takes some time, but finally, while trekking the world to purge the Dark Army, Dai learns of his father and Dragon Knight blood, and by a cruel twist of fate, It turns out Dai's father Baron is a Dark Army commander who has turned his back on humanity. The encounter with his father stands out for a few reasons. Baron had temporarily erased his memories through Dragon Crest resonance. He did not accept what his son grew up to be, and this was the first Dark Army commander Dai did not defeat. The battle against Baron ended in a draw, unlike the previous 3 conquered commanders. Nonetheless, after some time in the series due to certain circumstances, Baron decides to forego the Dark Army and work alongside his son Dai against the Dark Army. Touching because Dai finally had a father figure who wasn't trying to physically harass him. It was short-lived though, as Baron sacrifices himself to protect Dai from an intense explosion. And like with his mentor Yvonne, Dai once again faces the concept of death and his failure to defend others. Eventually, after a long and perilous journey with ups and downs, the Dark Army is vanquished from the world. Dai eliminates the origin of the Dark Army, the Dark King Vern, although in the very end, Dai, much like his role models Baron and Yvonne, had to sacrifice himself to protect the humans of the surface world. A black core detonates as Dai rushes it into the sky, and our hero disappears in the explosion. Let's touch on Dai's personality. For the most part, he's an upbeat young man. He values his friends and desires to be a hero for the humans of the surface world. In episode 86 of the anime, in the battle against Dark King Vern, Vern asked Dai to lay down his arms and become his servant, something which his father had agreed to. Some paraphrasing on my part, but he says, "Humans are not worth protecting. They cry when in need, but once peace comes, Dai, you will be stripped from your title as hero. Humans fear inhuman power and that which they do not understand." Not empty words at all, as Dai has seen firsthand how some have feared him for his strength as a dragon knight. Dai's reply to Vern is, "You may be right, but I won't join you. I love humans. They are the ones who made me who I am today. If after I defeat you, they reject my existence, I will simply leave the surface world." Dai is a hero not for fame, but because he truly cherishes human life and is willing to put others before himself. Furthermore, Dai places high importance on his values. Of course, we see this in the final Vern fight, where he truly wanted to win with his humanity intact and not take the bloodlusted dragonoid form. At the end of the day, Dai is a heroic and valiant young man. He has a bit of a playful side. He's not dense to concepts like love, and from my experience watching the show, I'd say Dai doesn't find intense thrills in fighting. He's not Goku. He quite literally is crying in the final Vern battle, saying things like pummeling someone with a greater power can't be justice. I believe Dai just sees fighting as a means to help others who can't defend themselves, and that's real justice. If you enjoyed this video, check out my channel, keep on playing Dragon Quest, and I'll talk to you later. Help us reach 700 subscribers. Bye. Hey, a quick post-credits scene, I guess you could say. Just wanted to talk about one more thing relating to Dai, and that is in this character popularity poll that was done a while ago. Dai was voted #1. He has been a series favorite since all the way back then, and it makes me wonder if the popularity poll would have similar results if the vote took place more recently. Not too long after this video goes up, I will most likely have a YouTube community poll with 5 characters from this manga panel, the top 5 from this older popularity poll, and so you guys can vote for your favorite character. If everything goes according to plan, this video should release January 1st, 2023, and I just want to say thank you guys so much. In 2022, I never even thought this channel would reach 100 subscribers. Now we're approaching 700 subscribers, and it gets me emotional just talking about it. Let's try to hit 1,000 in 2023, and I love you guys.